The art of strategy. The art of strategy is keeping your mind and heart moving at the same pace. And depending on the day, it's hard to tell which one is taking the lead. I often see the same meme over and over, saying, I know what I bring to the table because I bought this table. But I find that irrelevant. Because if you still choose to sit at the table you bought with the same person or the same people who have hurt you, what difference does it really make? We can read these memes all day and make us feel great about ourselves while reading them. And we gain this temporary courage or temporarily feel good about ourselves. But then what happens once that high ends? You go right back to square one, feeling bad again. That causes you to keep hitting reset over and over and over again. And like I always say, history isn't meant to keep repeating itself. You need change. You're not fixing the problem. You're only bandaging it. We have to heal our wounds because there is no quick fix. There are many of you who may be with a narcissist or who have been or around narcissists that treat you horribly. They make you feel smaller than a grain of salt. If you have suffered from narcissistic abuse, 9 times out of 10, you're probably an empath. We tend to attract our mirror selves without gaining the full understanding as to why. We have to do the research. It's all a part of being strategic. One thing about narcissists, they're highly intuitive as well. And if you're an empath, you love to inspire and help others. You're not in false competition with anyone. Whereas a narcissist is like an empath as well, but the evil side. They love to use and manipulate others. Life is a big playground for them. It's all a game. For instance, when playing the game of chess, you anticipate your opponent's next move, hopefully knowing that they are trying to do the exact same thing to you. But the true question is it you who's really making the moves? Or is it the enemy who has you by the collar with a state of confusion? Some may ask, how do I know since the enemy loves to play these mind games? Well, it's the confusion. The moment confusion sets in, you know your mind and heart are out of alignment. God is not the author of confusion, but the enemy loves to play these mind games. So it's your mind that is now in the lead due to your way of thinking. You're now creating all the emotions that are displayed. And the enemy always plays off of your emotions. The enemy has the better strategy because they know what they want. They are determined to get it. And most importantly, they know that they can. When mastering the art of strategy, it's knowing without a shadow of doubt that you will surely win. With God, you will always win because He has already won. So ask yourself, why keep taking chances with the enemy and with man? It's automatically a losing battle. Just like Pinocchio, he had a puppet master. He always said, I just want to be a real boy. But he couldn't. He couldn't move without the strings attached. And I'm not saying that Geppetto was the enemy, but I am saying that there are many of us blinded by the enemy who may have us by the strings and we may not even realize it. And they too, the enemy also wants to be their true authentic selves. But in reality, they don't even remember who that is. And some of us don't even remember who we are. That's why God tells us to forgive our enemies, but we also must pray for them and also be thankful for the ones who have taught us lessons of what we don't want to ever have to deal with ever again. And also teaching us the value of self. God is very strategic when it comes to the way he does things. We may not like it. We may not agree with it, but he knows that we'll be okay. And if it's a hard lesson, it's because when there's no other way but a hard way, because he knows it's the only way to grab our attention. That's why some of us have to suffer through these hard lessons, and they're not fun. That's the only way that we're going to open our eyes and see. The enemy cannot move without God's permission. Always hold on to that fact. The easiest way the enemy wins is knowing that he can make you doubt yourself or doubt God. You'll never beat the enemy if your mind and heart are too busy racing each other. When we lead with our minds based off of what we can see, we're disconnected from our hearts, which is where Holy Spirit lives. With that disconnect, you will burn yourself out every single time because you're constantly racing. Once you connect your heart and your mind and you start moving in perfect harmony, that's when you'll start winning. You then attract all your heart's desires and they start flowing in. So master the art of strategy by knowing that you have already won. But first, it will take healing and work. But just get them on the same page by building that intimate relationship with God. The enemy can sense your energy shift, and they can sense when your blessing is near. So when they come back around and they start coming back with all their sob stories, wanting to pry, asking you questions about what's your next move, what you're doing, or sending others to start asking you what you're doing, the only thing left to say is checkmate. Stay blessed.